Itakuya. Hihachota demie. Kokio kuta de wahi. Yupia de wahoma adab. De ite mayachu be. Nina yomaki. Hello, my relatives. I am Greyowl, Hihachota Greyowl. I'm a member of the Croquic Sioux tribe. And in my younger days, we talked Dakota always in our homes. Then they gathered us up in August and September. They took us to the Catholic Indian Mission School at Stephan, South Dakota. And that's where we started speaking English. Now, when we talk Dakota and a kind, gentle, loving nun hears us talk Dakota, she comes up behind us and grabs one of our ears and tells us, you're not supposed to talk your language. You have to talk English. Okay. So when we're alone, we think we're alone. Then me and my relatives who are in school with me, we talk Dakota. And we found out way afterwards that people not Dakota were telling us kind, sacred, loving nuns we were talking Dakota, and so they'd come up behind us and pull our ears. One was right-handed, pull my left ear. Toward May, my left ear is a little bigger than my right ear, so I start talking Dakota and the left-handed one. She come up by me and pull my right ear. I got him evened out. A'i'eapsa is my Dakota name. A'i'eapsa, which means they talk about him. I was given that by my grandfather, my father's father, who was a great big man. He's almost, I heard he's almost 7 feet tall. And big. I saw a picture of him where he's standing and had a hat on, which made him look taller yet. But the regular size guys, 5'9", 5'10", come up to his shoulders, it seemed to me. And my father, John Greyowl, told me that was my grandpa, that was his dad. I was born down in the old Fort Thompson hospital on March 18th, 1932, Friday, March 18th, 1932. And I was there not very many days, probably 3 or 4 days, and they took my mom, my dad took me back out home. I lived in Bad Nation in a log cabin. I had a door and a window on the west side, one on the east side. That's all. We slept on the floor, we ate at a table, but most of the time we ate sitting down on the ground too. We didn't have much furniture, but that didn't bother us. That sure didn't bother us, because we were brought up to respect one another, mostly love one another. And as we were left home one at a time to go to school up at Stephan, it was a Catholic Indian Mission School. It started, that Catholic Indian Mission School my great-grandpa, Bull Ghost, furnished the land for that school to get started back in 1885. There's a bishop from Sioux Falls, Catholic bishop from Sioux Falls. He came out looking for a place to start a boarding school. Well, my grandpa, or my great-grandpa, I should say, said, you start a school, not just a day school, go home every day, but stay right there. I'll furnish the land. So in 1885, he furnished land. And when I was 7, they put me in the first grade. So it put me, when they put the kindergarten away, but then the guys that are 6 years old, they come and they start in first grade. But I was in 7th. I was 7 when I was in first grade. So when I graduated, I was a year older than my classmates when I graduated high school. Anyway, the nuns discouraged us talking Dakota. And that sure mixes us up. Today they want us to talk Dakota. Go up to the high school and talk Dakota to them. I don't know if they had me teaching Dakota one time up there. But this tribe, it depends on who's on the council. If the council don't like you, you don't have a job. If they like you, you got a good job. That's just the way it is right now.
Yeah.
It's been that way many, many years. And I've known guys with college degrees that were laid off up there just for no reason at all. And there's no place to go to challenge that. The council is everything here. Anyway, and we never used to hear of a person getting on a council, and I don't know where that buying votes now. That's a big thing today. Like a friend of mine told me that it took him $7,000 to get on a council.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Here?
Here, yeah.
Ooh.
So if I run for council and they ask me if I had any, I'm just like you, I'm broke. I got enough to eat, enough for my car, that's about it. All my clothes come from Goodwill, so there's I get along. One of our values is adjustment to nature, and that's part of it. Getting along, that's the way we have to. But anyway, when we were little out to Bad Nation, living in that log house, my grandpa lived just a little ways. We were up on a little hill out in Bad Nation to the southeast. Grandpa, and then Uncle Alec, my dad's oldest brother, he was taking care of Grandpa or something. So we'd run down there and visit with him. He liked that. And he'd tell us a lot of things about what's going to happen. We're going to go to school, we ain't going to like it, because the ones that had experience up there with him, you talk Dakota, they'll pull your ears, pull your hair, or hit you with a ruler on your hands. Now that's kind, gentle, loving nuns do that. The priests, and they call a guy a brother, is going to be a priest or something. They're all like that. Mean. I never heard of anybody being mean. when we were growing up in our home, in our community. But after they come back from that school, in the boarding school, I guess they were as bad as that Catholic school I went to. Because a lot of them guys that went to the government school, they call it, they grew up pretty good guys, you know. But when my grandpa, he wanted to see me, he held me for a long time. I'd just come back from the hospital. He took me home from the hospital. And he had me in his arms, just looking at me a long time. And then he said, "De a Ethiopia." This baby, meaning me, his name is going to be Ethiopia. They talk about him. Whether it's good or bad, they still talk about him. That's what he told me.
You've lived up to that, Melvin.
After I grew up, you know.
People talk about you like all the time. I mean, I do.
I drank for 32 years. Well, 35 years, I guess. When I was 9 years old, when I started drinking, the first drink I ever had. Back in them days, we weren't supposed to have liquor, natives, because our people went to Washington and asked the Congress to pass a law saying we couldn't have it because it was wrecking us. It's really messing us all up. And so, especially our health, you know, the liver couldn't detoxify fast enough or something, I don't know. But anyway, my father had some pretty good friends, white guys that were friends up in Highmore, and we'd tell them, "Dad wants a quart of whiskey, here's the money." They'd go get it. That's how we got it.
When you were 9.
And then 9 years old, I got drunk first time. But I couldn't ever get rid of that euphoria. The first few drinks made me feel pretty good. And if I wanted to feel better, I'd drink more, which didn't happen. It messed my health up. I'm lucky, you know, my liver's okay. My heart is okay. My mind's okay. But I think what I learned, our grandpas told us what was going to happen up at that school we're going to go to. But if you pay attention, always, first thing, don't pay attention to anybody, just pay attention to yourself. And I never knew what he meant by that until years later, and then I thought, well, I've been drinking for 30-some years, and I was always into somebody's business. Never mind. After I sobered up, I've been sober about, let's see, 1978 was the last time I got drunk. Up to now, I never had a drink. So that's how many years? I don't know how many
Maybe
years.
36.
76?
No, 36. 1976, 1978.
78, yeah. 88, 98,
98,
2008.
Oh, wait a minute, more than that.
2000.
Yeah, 36 years. Almost as long as you've been drinking, you've been sober.
Anyway, through sobriety, I graduated high school. I started at the University of Mary College up in Bismarck, North Dakota, back in 1976, I think. Yeah. And I was there. I got through. I got passing grades. Let's put that in. I wasn't an A student or anything, but I got because I was drinking. I never paid attention in school. They'd give me an assignment. And I must have done pretty good because I wrote a story. And in written communications, the instructor told us to write some either, it could be true, it could be fiction, however you want to. So I wrote about 4 guys from this reservation who were drinking and how they went to a dance, and as they went into the dance, they were greeting everybody. It's pretty good. I thought, well, it took a number 1 in my class out of 40-some students. That was voted number 1, and I had to read it to the class. And then they have a book in sense, where to take all the poetry stuff, all the stories, and put it in this one book at the end of the year. And mine was in there. So it was supposed to be 500 less words, so I must have put 500 words.
Wow. That's quite a compliment.
5,000 words, I should say. Anyway, they put it in that book. And then a little, in poetry, there's 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, 2 words, 1 word. I sitting outside looking, and I put prairie, first word, prairie. Images are shimmering, going, 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 gone. Whispering winds are left. They put that in there to me. Then the instructor said, never a student here ever had 2 things in that book. So I must have,
You did
but
pretty
I was
good.
still drinking. I was still drinking. Never studied much, but I made passing grades, you know. And then when I give a talk where people pay attention, I read my story to the class. I'm the only one who got a big hand.
Really?
With that.
Wow.
But I guess I've been doing pretty good. Then,
So after Mary, you finished school at 2 years? At
yeah,
Mary?
I went to University of Marion. This is Mary College
Right.
back in '76. And in '78, I transferred down to the University of South Dakota, and I graduated. In alcohol and drug abuse studies. I got a degree in that from the University of South Dakota.
So that's when you stopped drinking then, right at that time? 78 is when you stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So that's when
So
you went.
never.
Did you go to rehab to quit, or did you do it on your own?
Pardon?
Did you go to rehab to quit drinking, or did you do it on your own?
No, I just made up my mind today. I don't care what, I'm not going to drink. I put just for today. I wrote a deal, put it in my room just for today. No matter what happens, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. The first 12 days, man, I was sick. And my friends down here come up to Stefan, hey, brought a drink? Yeah, all right. That's all I didn't say. I quit or anything. I didn't say that. I just told myself I quit. And I haven't had a drink since.
Wow.
A lot of good things have happened to me. I graduated University of South Dakota. I've been invited to give talks. I talked in Boston, Massachusetts. I talked in Seattle, Washington, down in Sacramento, California. So I was lucky. And then down in Texas and up in Canada, I've been invited to give a talk. Some guy from Canada would be down to an AA meeting and hear my presentation, hear how I sobered up, stayed sober. He'd go home and he'd tell them guys, hey, there's a good guy there, I'd invite him up. So that's how I get invited out. And I guess they get something out of what I say.
Oh man, you can't help. I've been in audiences where he speaks. People just, he's got that ability to speak. You and Vern Ashley,
Yeah.
both have that same gift.
Anyway,
But you also spoke in front of the UN,
yeah.
and talk about that a little bit.
I went to treaty meetings here across the river, and then Tony Blackfeather from Pine Ridge and Garfield Grassroot from Lower Brule. They went to treaty meetings in Geneva, Switzerland, at the UN. So they asked me if I'd be interested in going along over there. So I said, okay. So in 1997, I went to Geneva first time. I went back in 98, 99, 2000, 2001. And when I give a presentation about the treaties, I guess they understand it pretty good, because it seemed like I'd always get a big hand from all the people that are at the UN. The first half is kind of a half circle. The big government sitting at first head, and the people from the different countries sit toward the back. And I was pretty lucky I got to go over there and address the General Assembly of the United Nations.
What'd you tell them? About life on the res, or
No treaties.
about treaties in the...
I think there's quite a few treaties made with the United States.
Hundreds.
I heard 800, but 653 of them were in force now, and the rest are in the vault in Washington, D.C. Someone in the UN was telling me that. And they don't want to get them out. The United States blocks that, because them treaties that are locked up will give us all our land back. That's the only thing we can figure. They don't want to, the United States blocks, and they're pretty powerful, the United States.
And that's still today.
To listen to them, yeah.
You know what's in them treaties?
But they tell them they treat us very good. And I said, oh no. They broke every treaty that's been broken, the United States broke it. We never did break a treaty, yes. And they're blaming us for breaking treaties, as did. And boy, the United States representatives, well, they try to talk to me, really talk nice to me and all that. And my friend Tony Blackfeather, you get the hell out of here, you're not in the United States now. So we don't listen to that, see.
You're in the UN, Switzerland now.
Well, the Russians really like that.
The Russians?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, we told them, you get out of here.
What about the
yeah, okay, I could listen to this guy forever, but let's go back to the old Fort Thompson.
Oh, okay.
What you remember, how it was, and during that period where they decided to, Vern talks about that time and the promises and...
The office, long time ago down at Old Fort, when they talk about the office, that's a BIA office. They had a building by itself over there. And they're supposed to, the treaties say, feed us, shelter us, educate us, and keep us well. The first things that are in all them treaties. And they know they ain't gonna do that, but they tell us there, the white guy would tell us that. And then they would Jakashi. This guy's not telling the truth. That's what our ancestors told. So we never pushed a treaty. The United States representatives, they're the ones that do that. And it broke every treaty. And we never did break one. And that's what I mentioned at the UN in Geneva, Switzerland. Finally, about the fifth or sixth time, I was going to go over there and go to these treaty meetings in west of the river, all the reservations, Pine Ridge, Rosebud, Lower Brule, Cheyenne River, Standing Rock. And the treaties, we never did break one. And then east of the river is Crow Creek, Yankton, Flandreau, and Sisseton. Yeah. But we're the D language over here, and west of the river is L, and then northwest is N dialect. So when we were down at Old Fort, we used to, about once a year, the government, they started raising cattle down there. Old Fort, west of Old Fort, there's a farm. That's where they started raising cattle. And they'd butcher one and maybe two or three and cut the meat up and pass it out down the ration house, they call it. We'd get a couple pieces of meat, take them home. That's just, but they didn't ever keep their end of for the land. Everything's for the land. I ask elders, well, how come you guys don't like white guys? They stole our land. Everyone stole our land. Now I'm seeing where, like I went to Geneva and the treaty says you're supposed to stay off this land. Did they stay? No. The Black Hills stole it from us outright, because of the gold there. And we did, in the streams in the Black Hills, guy, Tony, his grandfather's son told him, this little boy had a piece of metal. And Custer seen that, he said, where'd you get this? Right over there, in that creek. So he went over there. That was a gold nugget, pure gold. So they go over there, and then next thing you know, when a white man knows there's gold somewhere, they're going there, whether treaty or not, And if we're getting away, they just blast us, They got guns, we didn't even have a slingshot, So what happens is everything, I made a statement over in Geneva, everything in my homeland, which today is known as the United States of North America, has been stolen from us, all us natives over there. Not just a Sioux Nation. I don't know why they say the Great Sioux Nation. We don't feel great. We're just common people, And we're very generous with everything we have. If a person needs it, if we see some family that needs something, well, throw in and go take it over there, give it to them. Well, even. That's our way of living. And today, the elders, it's still that way. And the young ones, they'll say, well, Dad said this, or Uncle said this, or Grandpa said this, we should share up and do everything like that. Everybody be equal. In the wintertime, we'd get a canvas tent and come down to Fort Thompson. The flat right now, but it used to be down trees. They had a forest, and then the river was on the south side of the forest up here. So Old Fort was down there. We all had a home, and the people that live outside of the fort lived in tents in the wintertime down here. Shucks, we had a little stove, and everybody had wood brought to them by members of the tribe. The government once in a while would kick loose with some fuel or whatever. But we grew up that way. So we can adjust to any situation. I've noticed that ever since I could realize, some things. And it's still that way today. sportsmanship. I was lucky I came down to Fort Thompson. They kicked me out of Sudan for drinking. I was really drinking. And then brought me down to Fort Thompson. So one of my brothers, he was already down here. And Fort Thompson never won a championship from when they split A and B. 1936, I think, was A, and then Class B started. Class A started. So at Class B, Ogallala from the Pine Ridge, they won the first Class B state tournament. They won that. And then the next all-Indian team to go up there is 1952. That was Fort Thompson Panthers. Me and one of my brothers was on that first.
You were on that team? You were on that team? 52?
Yeah, I was on that. I was a guard. My brother Kenny was a center. Eddie Shields was the other guard. And Marvin Quilt, he was a good rebounder. We could jump like a kangaroo, that guy. And then Solomon Hislaw, he was a forward. Eddie and I were guards. Solly and Marvin were forwards, and my brother Kenny was a center. He was only about 6 foot. But run. We had a coach that didn't know plays at all.
You didn't know plays?
He didn't know any plays. But they made him the coach because he had a college degree.
Wow.
The Indian
You hear that
coach,
sound?
Pop Tuttle, he didn't have a degree, so they said you can't. Chamberlain and all these white towns, we're the only Indian town in this class B over here. So they made us have a coach that had a college degree. Bob Portlock, he's from Galesburg, Illinois. He was a 4th or 5th grade teacher. He's the only one they made him the coach. He didn't know anything about the coach. But run, that's all he knew.
So you guys just ran on your own without a coach?
Yeah, run 50 times around the gym to start. Then after practice, from 3:15 to about 4:30 or 4:45 was practice. Run around the gym 25 times. So 75 laps around that gym every day we was in school.
Did you just do this on your own, or did the coaches tell you to do that? Did you do this on your own, or did the coaches tell you to do that?
The coach.
He told you to run around the gym. That's his
all
only
he
play.
knew. That's all he knew.
That's his play.
But boy, in the 4th quarter, in every big gym we played in, we won the first championship ever, the district championship for this community, Fort Thompson.
In
Then
52?
we got into the regional tournament, and we played Vivian first, but barely beat him. And Ethan, they had a curtain box 7 feet tall, I think. And our tallest guy was 6 foot even, as my brother Kenny. But run, 4th quarter, we're still running powerfully because we know we've got to run the laps, you know. So that coach knew what he was doing, you know, when he get that ball shucks that quick, we'd have it done. They take a shot, and Solly Hislaw, he didn't even get past the half line to play on defense. Just as the other guys take a shot, we'd get the ball, throw it backwards over somebody would catch it, and Solly had already be down to the basket, underneath the basket. You know, the gym in Mitchell, boy, those are good gyms, we thought. Big as ours, you know.
You had a pretty good sized gym here, right?
Very big one. Yeah, part of it's the grade school over here, the rafters.
Oh,
That's part of it.
so they took part of that from down the old Fort Thompson.
Put it up here. But they
So did you win the
it's just
state
a-
then? Did you win this? Did you win the state?
No, we took 4th best in the state. Here's what happened. I have a friend who's at Augustana College. He's from Highmore. He came to see me. at that Class B tournament the first night. We played Kadoka. They went up. That was their third or fourth time into the state tournament. We beat them by 1 point. And that night we played Heitai. And we started drinking. That's the second day. So we didn't care if we were in the state tournament. That was our attitude. We're in the Class B state tournament. We're one of the, out of 228 high schools in the Class B in the state of South Dakota, 8 get to go to that Class B. We were one of them, see, so we didn't care.
The only native team?
Yeah, yeah. So let's see, DeSmith, I think DeSmith beat us the second time, yeah. So we won the first one. We were in the evening session. We lost this next one. We lost the last one. At that time we didn't care.
Were you drinking were you drunk during the game?
Yeah.
Were you drinking during the game?
Pardon?
Were you drinking during the game?
Well, in the evening, yeah.
So back to the gym. Describe the gym down here a little bit. You had a really.
It's a regulation gym, 94 feet long and about 48 feet wide or something like that, the floor. And it had 3 or 4 bleachers. And Fort Thompson never did have a championship, but they saw us playing, so the whole community would come to see us play at the home gym here.